Hey everyone, Jim T. Graham with RCGroups.com. I'm joined by my longtime RC traveling companion, Jason Cole. What's happening, Jason?
We're back. Hey man, how's it going? We haven't
So,
done this in so long, it feels like.
right, and that is the big news of today is we're re-kicking off RC News with RCGroups.com. You know, I started a podcast. I'm not going to say, I was debating with myself, and historically, I'll have to go figure this out. Was I the first RC podcast or the second RC Groups? I think the Crash Cast might have predated us, which would be awesome because
Yeah.
Crash
There wasn't many
was
back then. Yeah.
that was really it, right?
Yeah.
And I will say to everyone, if anyone out there is OG and remembers the old audio podcast, I did go back and I found them stored, and I can download them all, but I can't upload them to YouTube, which brings us to now. Jason, I want to talk to everyone about you, so don't let me forget about that. YouTube just came out with the ability to have YouTube-based podcasts. So that means they can be video or audio. So you could listen to them in your car, in the workshop, or at work. Or if you wanted to watch the corresponding video, you could do that. So I called up Jason and I said, man, we could do what we do and share this in both worlds and just kick it off again. And that's exactly
right.
what we're here for.
I think everybody out there should cancel their Audible accounts. You don't need audiobooks. You've got Jim T and Jason right here.
Well, that was the thing originally was I had to figure out how to do MP3. This is, 2000, pre-2013. So let's say 2011-ish.
Do we even have computers back then?
I started on the internet in 1996. So back then computers were this big and it took forever to download. The internet browser took a day to download. And I was like, I said to my wife, something must be wrong here.
Yeah, let's go to the RC chat board.
But I had to make the MP3s, edit them, and then upload them to a server that then would be picked up by Apple, and then it would distribute out from there. So it was a real process. And so just the other day, I saw this new podcast option for YouTube, which is one of my favorite ways to communicate to people. And here we are. With that said, the name of this podcast is RC News from RCGroups.com. And I have uploaded anything that audibly would be interesting to listen to for the entirety of our YouTube lifespan. And
That's
Jason, with that said, you know what I don't have pulled up?
I have no idea.
For the first one, I thought this does not correspond with the podcast, but your jet crash video
yes.
that has had hundreds of thousands of views. Yes. So maybe we'll tease that for the next one. I don't want to number these things since I've done so many audio and
who knows where we're starting. Yeah.
Yes. So there's no numbers here, but for the next one, we'll go find the video. And what we'll do is very accurately describe the explosion if you're listening.
It's pretty impressive.
And the second part is, before we get started into the RC news, is that you can always go back to the site and look at links and whatever it is we're talking about. And you're like, what? I got to see it. You can always go see it on rcgroups.com.
That's right.
So let's catch up with Jason Cole. Because I'm a little out of date since you had a flying through the air bike crash. And Jason is a world-class sailplane pilot. So tell everyone how you've competed all over the world and where you're at these days.
Yeah, I mean, as a lot of people probably already know, I started flying RC with sailplanes, in the mountains of North Carolina. And that today has kind of been my favorite thing to do in the hobby. I've done it all. I've flown jets, biplanes, gas, electrics, speed planes, piloliners. I mean, all of it. I've done everything you can do in the hobby just about.
And sailplanes, when you worked for Hobby Lobby, we had to test fly everything that came through the door. So you really have flown everything.
Oh yeah. Prototype stuff, crazy, unique planes. I like it all, but I love sailplanes. That's my main passion. So so I've been competing for years now in F3K. It's the hand launch gliders. And then more recently, last few years, also into what's called F5J. These are the big 4-meter wingspan, carbon fiber, really lightweight, super high performance gliders, electric motors. It's a fun, challenging game to do the competition. It's great to go hang out with your buddies for a weekend, fly some airplanes, challenge yourself, compete, fly thermals. It's a lot of fun. So I'll be doing that some more this year. Yeah, Florida,
travel around?
Ohio. I stay on the East Coast, but there's a lot of West Coast contests too that I would love to get to out in Arizona and Washington State. There's a lot of fun contests, but um, I'll be making some rounds coming up here soon. There's one in Florida next month that I'm going to see if I can make it or not. And then always at the AMA Soaring Nationals, which will be in July this year, at the end of July. We fly all the disciplines for over a week. We call it glider camp. It's a good time.
I don't want to give away your secrets, but I know that you had a horrific bicycle. I didn't see it, but in my mind, I see you jumping a ramp in the middle of the woods, flying through the air, doing a cranky Yankee. It did landed on your shoulder.
That's the most accurate, description you can describe it with.
It.
So I landed on my head, shoulder, and cracked some ribs and had a concussion and all that stuff. And yeah, it tore my shoulder up for the better half of a solid year. Like I'd call it 98% good. Like I feel like I can compete at a high level now. I feel pretty good about it, but it took just a lot longer than I thought it would to heal.
And when you, let's say when you're DLG is what you're doing primarily, yes?
Well, both, but yeah, it's a big one. Yep.
So like, I know what a bad shoulder feels like because I've had two, but when you went out there and did a full launch, were you scared or did it feel dramatically different?
I mean, I waited a long time because it hurt just to even like raise my arm like that. It used to suck. And I was like, I can't, there's no way I can throw, like do a baby throw. So I actually competed last year at the Nats. Barely. Like I was like hardly throwing, just enough like to try to get it up and have some fun, but it wasn't full power by any means. And so hopefully this year it'll feel good doing that. I haven't really thrown full power since.
So you haven't done it yet.
Okay. Yeah, the weather's been kind of cold and sucky and but it's just like in the last month my shoulder started feeling like I'm like it doesn't hurt now. So I have to go try it and see what it feels like.
I think I don't know if I said this to you or my other friend, but my shoulder hurt for so long. And then at some point I realized, hey, wait a minute, it's basically normal, you know?
Yeah. So. It hurt so long. I was concerned. I was like, I need to go to a doctor to see what's going on. And they were like, he's like, you could do surgery because there's some stuff stretched in ligaments and things, but nothing's like torn or separated.
Oh, great.
And he said, give it a year and you'll probably just realize that it stopped hurting. And I was like, okay.
Love it.
And I did. And that's what happened. Yep.
So with all that said, the goal of this podcast is I would love to share some stories. Jason's a world-class pilot. He is the kind of guy that you would want to have fly your plane. I'm a world-class mediocre pilot. I fly a lot like everyone out there, but I also have flown a lot of different things and FPV'd and stick built and things like that. But I also have stories from events that hopefully will pop up as we look at news here. And I would love for us to occasionally have special guests. And with that said, who do I have coming up? Well, I'll tell you what's coming up first. Jason and I have another video coming out. We're doing an in-depth look at the new Hitec charger, which we'll take a look at today quickly, and then we'll have a more in-depth look. And then Mean Joe Vermillion and I, Mean Joe's doing a full review on that Hitec charger, and so we're going to talk about that then. And me and Joe are doing regular interviews. Mike at Robart and I do a lot of how-to videos, and I'm talking to some other folks about regular videos. Nothing I can announce right now, but I'm excited about that. And Jason and I literally every day are creating stories about things that you should know about in the hobby. So my goal for them, Jason, is for them to drink coffee or drive to work and go, what's going on in the hobby? And we provide a brief synopsis of what you need to know that happened this week in the hobby.
Yeah, man, I dig it. Let's dive in.
Let's do it. So we're going to jump over to rcgroups.com. And we are in the articles, news, and reviews section. This is everything that Jason and I create, but it's also in the forums. So this isn't something just we can see. You can always click right here in this circle with the transmitter in it and see it. Jason, you want to start out with the blog of the week?
Yeah, the blog of the week I created because we have an awesome blog section on RC Groups. It gets heavily used, and it's only shown in the blog section. So there's so much great content there that if you're only in the forum sections on RC Groups, you're going to miss this stuff. So I decided, once a week on Fridays, I'm going to highlight the blog of the week and kind of just go through and pick my favorite one that I can look through. And so this one was the Ultra Stick 40 repair. What was his username? One blue dog.
One blue-eyed dog.
One blue-eyed dog. Yeah, spelling. It's tiny on my screen here. But yeah, so he had a crash with his Ultra Stick 40, which is a classic airplane, just a fun sport aerobatic thing to fly. And so he talks about in the blog post, he talks about doing the repairs, getting it back together, and bringing a classic back to life. So that's a cool thing to do.
And I have just started monitoring blogs on a daily basis, and it really is remarkable the amount of content being generated by users that's really in depth. I'm blown away. I don't want to use the word really again, but I'm blown away. So blog of the week.
Good stuff. Every Friday, rcgroups.com, blog of the week.
With that said, I wanted to have a cool background for the broadcast today. So I went on RC Groups and looked up a thread. It was called Workshops. And I want to say the background behind me right now belongs to Lucky Flyer. And if you have a shop and you want it to be our backgrounds, send it to us. And one of us will use it as a background image. And then your shop will be the background image for the weekly broadcast for that week.
There you go. I didn't go virtual this week. This is my actual, I live here. This is my newly kind of refurbished hobby room with the Bamboo Labs X1C 3D printer, and a 3D printed like storage organization wall for all my tools and stuff. It's just much better setup here for me doing work and soldering and all that stuff on a table.
So you went full 3D. I fought with my 3D printer so much with lengthy prints and all that stuff. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to wait 5 years for something better to come out.
Yeah. And so that's what Bamboo Labs did, dude. It was like the early days of trying to fly drones when they weren't called drones, when we called them multi-rotor helicopters, and they were so hard and finicky, and you had to do a lot of tinkering. Right. And then DJI came out and made drones that anybody could fly. That's what their engineers did for 3D printing. It's just almost just plug and play, super simple, easy to use. It just
and you have a review on that, right?
I do. We have a review. It's got a lot of traction on RC Groups there.
Since we're talking about it. P.S. Bamboo, if you're watching, I have sent you an email, not for anything free. Okay, we're going to go to the homepage and scroll down to reviews in this sidebar here. Let's hope this works. Articles and news and reviews. Bamboo Lab. Bang, it worked.
There you go.
So here's Jason's review. It is in our review section. You can read about the features. Jason, this is your video, I reckon?
Yeah.
Or Bamboo's. Yeah.
It's my video. Yep.
You can watch Jason's video and find out things like this. For me, when I'm buying something new, is invaluable. Just when I'm opening the box and need to know what's going on,
Yeah, definitely having like a real person's perspective versus some, paid like YouTube thing.
So let's talk about AJ Aircraft. AJ's been around a long time, and they produce great 3D aircraft, and they have a container coming in. And if I'm reading it right, I did create the story, so hopefully I'm correct. This is a new trim scheme that's going to be on that container for their slick. And then we have the 93-inch laser on that container. And I bet money it's here. I haven't seen the notification that it's here yet, but all these links lead you to their order pages, and you can go check these out from AJ Aircraft. Tim.
I know. We get a lot of newcomers to the RC hobby on here as well. So if you don't know, Andrew Jeske is one of the best pilots in the world. If Jim calls me a good pilot, he's leaps and bounds greater pilot. But just fantastic dude too, all around, and looking forward to seeing him at Jonal in May. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, on a future show, more in depth about that event. But look up Jonal if you've never heard of it, never been to it. It's a must see event. It's awesome.
And if you wind up buying one, tell Tim that Jim T and Jason sent you.
There you go.
So KST brought to you by, I have an interesting notable topic here. Buddy RC, who is a great company. Jason and I was thinking, Jason, Buddy RC, this dates back to like Toledo and that tiny booth way back when, right?
Yeah. I remember them going up there and had all the cool chargers and tech. They're kind of like a little specialty shop back then. And they've certainly grown and brought in more items. So cool to see them still kicking around.
And with that said, this is a Heli servo by KST. Heli-freak.com, I think people will find this remarkable, is growing at a rapid rate, surpassing numbers that it's had in the past, which is crazy, because the heli market really got thumped in the head with the drone market, but that was years ago when the drones hit. So anyway, Heli-freak.com, a partner site that we run and own and admin and do all those things. It's something to definitely be aware of. So we'll head back over to the news page. And that takes us to What the Heck Wednesday. How can you talk about a What the Heck Wednesday on an audio broadcast, Jason?
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll do our best. But this was also an article series I created just to have some fun. I think it originally started with a crazy helicopter video. Like it was just like the wildest helicopter like disintegration I've ever seen. And then I was like, what happened? Like, how did this occur?
What the heck?
Yeah, and what the heck? And it might have been a Wednesday, I don't know. But so I posted it and be like, what just trying to get the community involved. What do you guys think happened with this crash? What's going on here? And so it's kind of evolved, and every Wednesday we'll post a new video and of a weird, wacky crash or unique thing, and we'll kind of discuss it, break it down, figure out what happened. These must be over in India.
Yes. And so in the picture, we see a nice dramatic crash of not a new airplane. That's an old bird, right?
Yeah, this is like a giant scale Cap 232, and gas engine, and he had just a loss of signal. And so that one's kind of hard to break down what happens in the video. It just kind of piles into like a steep turn and just smacks itself in many parts. But the discussion there is talking about kind of best practices, how to install your receivers, antennas, best placements, backup, redundant systems, technology, things we can do to prevent a loss of signal from happening, so that won't happen to you. So it's good discussions, and it's a lot of helpful content most of the time, and fun to see crashes. Who doesn't love that, right?
I'm letting my wife know that we're live, so nobody burst into my room here. With that said, yes, check back every Wednesday. There's always a crash to view. And I can tell you that as a guy who makes emails that goes out to 100,000 plus people, everyone loves the crash video, no matter what. Hitec. I don't know if you know this, Jason, but Hitec came to Nashville for a little short evening, and we went out to eat dinner and then hung out at a full moon picking party where all the bluegrass people went and congregated, and it was crazy. It was like there was a bluegrass area here, but then around the barn there were multi-level groups of beginners, intermediate, and expert level bluegrass circles.
Nice.
And you just kind of got a beer and our soft drink and wandered around and just stood around and watched them pick. And so had a great time with Hitec. And with that said, Hitec, it has some new chargers for 2024. It's the 200, 800, and RDX4. And I just kind of briefly speak on it here. Here's a picture of one that's in our possession, the RDX4. Jason, you have that in your hands.
I do. Check it.
Let's see.
I got to say, like, the name, I just love the name, like RDX4. It's like so cool, right? But yeah, it's this one of the latest ones. I got to check it out briefly here for a little bit. It's got a nice color screen. Hopefully you can see that. It's a multicolor. It's got 4 charging ports, which is kind of like the kicker for this charger. That's why it's called the RDX4. So you got, and I love how they kind of set it up. So you can kind of see there's a one here on the side. It's XT60s and the balance ports, but you got one on one side, 2 on the front, and then another on the left side. So you can kind of spread your batteries out. It makes them not so clunky and finicky to try to get in and charge batteries. So it's a good system for there. You also got USB-C on the side as well. And it's just a real simple setup. It's got a nice metal button here. Good.
We're not going to go too in depth because we have a whole in-depth video to get in there.
But yeah, easy to use, nice and compact. You can kind of see how small it is here. It kind of fits in your hand. But yeah, very nice charger. I love being able to charge 4 batteries at once. Pretty cool.
Now, with that said, it reminds me I have something that I should probably show and tell, which will involve me standing up. So my concept is I'm going to find something for you to talk about in the news, and I will be right back. Let's see what it is. We can't do the indoor flying. AMA. Automated paint bond drop. That's you. Yes, Jason.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit play here, turn down the volume, and let you talk.
All right.
Okay, I'll be right back.
So yeah, I just was a cool, just interesting video. Sometimes I find videos and I'll put them on as an article and so we can talk about them. But I was kind of like, is this actually the future of security and technology with drones? Because what these guys do is pretty clever. They design a drone that could disperse some paint, and then they connect it with coding and all this technology, Arduinos and things to kind of create an automated system, right? So they had some thieves actually come and steal stuff out of their trailers, and so this prompted them to figure out what can they do. And they're Hacksmith Industries technology company making YouTube videos, so it's kind of like right up their alley. So they end up creating this drone that uses motion sensors and security alert cameras and everything to kind of auto detect and run it through this custom program that they made. And it would launch the drone autonomously, who would then go theoretically to where the thief was, maybe trying to break in, drop some paint on them, scare them away, had some, alarms and things going off, maybe a loudspeaker on the drone as well, as a deterrent. You're not really going to do much else with a drone. And then come back and land on a dock and self-recharge and kind of just make this, hands-free
like a
system.
watchdog.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, and it's a real entertaining video. It's kind of long; it's like 20 minutes long, but it's pretty fascinating to see what they could pull together in a short amount of time. And then I'm just like, is this the future? Are we going to have drone security systems at our houses or at businesses one day? So just a discussion about that, and then the rest of that thread there. Pretty cool stuff.
Awesome. It just occurred to me. I was proactive. Let's see if I can find it. Yes. I was proactive and sent this back. It was one of only 50 units in the country. And I was like, listen, I got to send this back to you. But what I had, it was literally in a box back here until about 8 hours ago. This is the Robart Go Switch. And did you watch this at all, Jason?
I missed that. Yeah. Tell me about it.
Well, we'll go over it, but it's a whole feature article here that you can look at. And so they sent the Go box to me. That is the Go box. And here I'm saying switches and buttons. That's everything I love in one place, and LED lights. And so this is, if you're a scale warbird guy and you need to control your retracts while you're building to like figure out where the hatches are going to stop and all that stuff. And so you could say, hey, I have a transmitter for that, but this will actually stop your retract at a certain spot. And then you can fix anything and then make it go forward or back. And basically his theory was if Jim T can make it work, anyone can. So this is me trying to figure out how to make the Go box work.
That seems pretty handy for setting up your retract. So that's cool.
Well, and good on them on Robart to, they have a place in the US where they build this stuff and come up with it and design it and ship it. And they do everything out of there. And so I just think it's awesome that those guys are over there coming up with solutions. Hey, everyone, there is a sale. Let's verify that it's happening at Horizon. It's a New Year's savings extravaganza. This just came out recently, so I'm pretty sure it's hot. We'll click here. I will check. Yes, it's still live. With that said, I will work on this whole setup for our next news video, just so that I get everything centered just right and get our heads just right. And when I click on a link, I want us to be able to go to the link that it's going to. So I will get all this going for the next one. But if you want to check it out, it's in our list of feature articles. You can go see what's for sale. And I was going to state the news here is we have planes, we have some helis, but we have jets, we have transmitters. We have a little bit of everything here. This is just a few of the things on the sale. So,
and this is Horizon Hobbies for the audio folks out there. So yeah, cool stuff.
Always coming out with great stuff. Always, we know a lot of the pilots there, and they're just like you, except they get to make great equipment and planes for everyone out there. Okay, so this is Jason Cole. Jason, I'll let you talk about it and I'll man the controls here.
Yeah, I came across this video of Luca flying for the CHA Servo event they had over in Germany, and I was just like, holy cow! You know, I've seen plenty of indoor 3D foamies and things flying around inside, but you don't see a whole lot of giant scale airplanes, which is what you're looking at right now. Smoke on in an arena. It's just light show. You know, they got the sparklers going off in the background and just whole thing decked out to the nine. So I just like this, pretty fantastic. I need to share this with RC Group. So made an article about it. Good dude, great pilot, and you know, it's just awesome. So you got to go check out that video.
I've seen just about everything. Jason and I have, in the early days of 3D, have flown 3D planes in trailers and
Yeah.
what was
Through
it?
the McDonald's logo.
Yeah, we flew it through McDonald's arches, golden arches. But I've never seen a giant scale plane inside a building. So
yeah,
right?
Awesome.
Have we ever seen that? I don't think we have.
I've seen giant scale sized airplanes, but a lot of it's the specialty, like super lightweight foam built airplanes that are electric powered, or even the blimps that are basically helium balloons that look like airplanes and have thrust vector,
Right.
you know, for control, but not a true full scale, you know, giant scale airplane. Pretty amazing.
Right. I first want to say we're now looking at flight test. This is the best of 2023. I will always read the title of the article for all you Audible listeners, or wherever you're listening it to. Listening to it on. That'd be the words. We will talk pretty words soon.
Pretty words, not good.
The team at Flight Test and Flight Fest, they've never been anything but gracious to us and just super nice guys and in it for the long haul. I really appreciate these guys.
I don't know about you, but my favorite video they did this year, it was on the top picture there, was that Star Wars hovercraft.
Right.
The full size Star Wars hovercraft that you get in. It's not an RC thing. You actually sit in it and drive it around. Stinking awesome.
The problem I had with that story, and I wanted to do more, was that it was not RC, and people kept correct. Hey, why is this on the RC site? And I'm like, because it's cool, man.
It's cool, and it's RC related. And they did actually have it set up with an RC system to where you could drive it around via radio control versus add a pilot inside of it. So there's that.
What we're looking at right now is a giant scale milkshake cup that
for Red Bull, yeah, for the Flugtag.
Which I guess they do every year now. I'm sure it takes up a quarter of their life.
Yeah, it's a lot of work there.
We're looking at their Winnebago that has the flying. What is that trim scheme? The Flying Shark or the Flying Tigers? That's
Flying
what
Tigers,
it was.
Okay.
But this is a whole video going over every cool thing they did. I think that was you right there, Jason. There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Every cool thing they did this year, which is a lot of cool things.
It's a lot.
Kind of what they specialize.
that's all they do. Yeah.
It's their whole thing. So be sure and check that out. Awesome. We appreciate them. They always support RC groups, and I'll always support them. Hey guys, if you're watching, anything you need, you let me know. It'll happen. CNHL, let's see if it's still happening, are having great deals on their lipos. And I have some sample pictures here, and let's join our loyalty program. Click here for the deals. And so the deal is still going on for 2024. That's CNHL lipos. You can check them out in our section there, just letting you know of that deal. It's not here, but I also know that RC Battery is having a big sale on everything right now. So rcbattery.com, great company, great lipos.
And when you have more batteries than you know what to do with, RDX4, 4-port Hitec charger.
You can charge anything.
Can't have too many chargers. That's what I say.
Every month, well, actually every couple of weeks, I feature some news from the AMA headquarters. And so this week is the 2023 recap. And you can head over and look at our feature, and it will link you to their recap, or you can watch it in our feature article and find out what the AMA did this year in 2023. You know, the AMA people love to discuss, which is interesting. And people are very passionate about it. And that leads to passionate discussions. Also, with that said, Toledo, which Jason and I used to go to, Jason, everyone, this is so exciting. It's old news exciting though. When I was putting in videos that I thought was appropriate for the podcast, I found the elevator interviews at Toledo. So basically, Jason and I and Matt Gunn would stand in the elevator at Toledo. I believe were there 3 floors? That was it?
Yeah, it's not big.
We had a camera crew and a mic, and we would wait for the door to open. And when you got in the elevator, I would stick the mic in your face. And I would say, hey, how's Toledo? Whatever year it is for you. And then people would be stunned. Some people would not talk, but some people would give us great answers. And so if you look around in our video list here in the podcast, you'll find it.
There's some other good ones. Lil Pete.
Little Pete's in there too,
Lil Pete.
as well as a lot of Ashley stuff. DeChera, your wife, is in one. And so all that stuff's here in the RC groups or the RC News podcast.
It's a good time. Good show.
And with that said, Big Hank has really revived the Toledo trade show on his own. It kind of went away. And so this is a swap meet. And 2024 is on. Let's see if I have some numbers here. Man, I thought I had numbers. Anyway, the numbers were really high last year. And so people are back, as my photos show, selling their wares and hanging out and having a good time. So if you want to go to Toledo and live the Toledo lifestyle like we did in the old days, you can do it again. And the countdown is for April 5th and 6th, 2024. So you've got some time to make some plans.
Do it.
All right. Hey, everyone. We're almost at the end of the news. Oh, you're not supposed to tell people that because then they'll quit listening to you. We're nowhere near the end of the news. I want to talk about Esprit Model and ZB, who we've known a long, long time. This is the Sailplane Universal Carry and Storage. Jason, do you ever need a golf bag for your Sailplane?
Yes. I don't have one currently, but could use one. They're super handy because you think about all the crap you got to carry. A lot of these slope soaring sites you can't just drive up to and park at, right? Like you do at a flying field. So you got to walk and climb a mountain in most cases to get to your spot. So those are super handy, really nice quality stuff.
So this is, in my article, just a few photos, but when you see more options here, link, it'll take you so you can check out everything. And big hey to ZB. We've run around with him since the earliest of the early days. Composite RC gliders. I want to say big thanks for them taking a chance on advertising with RC groups. They really make really quality airframes. Are you familiar with them, Jason?
Yeah, I haven't flown one, but yeah, I've seen just in the construction and some of the pictures I've seen, like it's the real deal. They're good airplanes for sure.
47 different models to choose from, and these guys live and breathe that stuff. We have a lot of great sailplane companies, and it's really remarkable, and I'm saying this to Jason, the amount of sailplane activity on RC groups. It seems to be the hub for RC sailplane anything.
Yeah, I would say that all of the events, there's all kinds of RC events and not all of them are posted, but all of the Sailplanes events are posted on RC groups. And that's where they have the main discussions. All of the national discussions are happening on RC groups, the team select events, all of the marketing for all those things. That's where it's at.
Awesome.
It's good stuff.
Hey, I just spoke with Stuart earlier in the week and I said, what can I shares or anything happening? And there's like 2 or 3 big things going on. But one thing he wanted me to talk about was the new heavy duty Turnigys.
I haven't seen these. What's heavy duty about it?
Well, I think I'm seeing 60C discharge rate. And let's see, the blue Turnigy is a firm favorite for just about all applications. They now include cells rated at 60C in the range of high quality LiPos.
Okay. So high output, but yeah, cool.
I've used Turnigy for almost, if not, well, no, I can't say all because I predate Turnigy, but these cells are in my boxes.
I remember the red Kokum packs.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Days past.
P.S. My son or daughter asked how long a lithium polymer pack can last, and I can attest that my Kokums are still rolling. What year was that? 2002?
10, 12 years, 15 years ago, something like that. Yeah.
That's nuts.
Crazy town.
I want to mention these guys. I was just talking this morning to them. The RC Roundtable podcast, a great RC podcast. They take it very seriously. We can hope to attain the legitimacy of the RC Roundtable. And I don't have it here, but I was invited on and got to talk about both of ours, Jason and I, boss Jim Martin, when he passed away, and we did a whole Hobby Lobby retrospect. And Jason, I'm sure I said this to you, but at some point, magically, it was not planned, we all start pulling out airplanes that we'd purchased at Hobby Lobby.
Oh yeah.
It was really remarkable. And so that's
cool.
the kind of stuff they do here. And it's another great podcast. So be sure and go and find them and put them on your list of things to listen to. Big hey out. And I think we are coming to the end here. I want to say we have this Legend Hobby Arch Soul Super Chipmunk. And I was talking to Mean Joe Vermillion. And Mean Joe is out of commission right now. So sending good thoughts, wishes, and all the things towards Mean Joe. Jason and I have also known that guy a long time. I guess we've known everyone a long time, Jason.
But we're that group now.
Yeah. I was in the truck today going, how did I become that guy? But all it takes is time, I guess. So we'll end up here with the blog of the week. And Jason, tell us about it.
Well, this one was 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So this is a guy's just like, I really like my Top Flight Corsair. And so he posts some photos and info about the upgrades and mods he's done to it. Cool post. If you get on the site, be sure to check it out.
Now, if somebody wanted to be the blog of the week, could they say, Jason, I want to be the blog of the week? Would you respond to that, or how does it work?
Yeah, I could take submissions. I definitely want submissions of crash videos and interesting videos for the What the Heck Wednesday content. But blog of the week, yeah, if you've got a cool blog with some great pictures or video and some information on there I can use to highlight, I'll put it in any of the other forums that it makes sense in and direct people to your blog. So that's kind of the purpose.
If you've made it to the end of the video, first of all, thank you. And we would love in the comments below for you to say, talk more, talk less, be more descriptive for the audio. We want to hear more of this and less of that. Whatever, is on the top of your list of things that you would like to see or not see. I would love to hear it. Also, once again, if you have a background image of your shop that you would like me to put behind myself for the next one, just find me on RC Groups. I'm easy to find. And Jason, anything you want them to do?
Yeah, just be kind to one another.
Spread the word of the hobby.
I know it's winter. I mean, if you're in California, you suck. Hope the weather's terrible. It's just cold and miserable, so we're not doing a lot of flying outside right now. But get the Sims out. Go talk. Tell us about your projects you're building. If you got anything going on for the winter for winter projects. I know it's a good time for that and build some planes, get ready for spring. But man, we're only a couple of months away from March now, so
yeah,
persevere.
Well, thanks everyone once again for hanging out at RC Groups, Flying Giants, Heli-freak.com, and watching the video. Be sure and hit subscribe and like. The word is hitting like helps us. I try not to be too knowledgeable on what's going on with stuff like that, but the other reason to hit subscribe is Jason and I are about to do another video on that more extensive video on the Hitec charger. And then that charger is flying back to Mean Joe, who's doing a full review on it. And there'll be more information. And I bet there'll be more Hitec stuff for us to talk about. Jason, thanks so much for your time. And bye, y'all.
Adios.